Module 5, BeyondCorp. BeyondCorp is a concept that was coined by Google and is starting to be practiced by many different organizations. This is the part where I'm going to annoy you, having just spent all this time talking about ways you can secure your network and having a network diagram up and defining all the parts of a network. I'm now going to suggest to you that we're coming up to a time where networks don't matter. BeyondCorp is talking about the idea of zero trust, where we don't think of the network we're on as being any more trustworthy than anywhere else. And we say, how can we secure our information and our people and our devices in that kind of an environment? When you hear the term BeyondCorp, a term that might go along with that is the idea of the end of the perimeter. We think of a perimeter as like a circle. We think of that network diagram, right? We have the cloud and then we go into our network. Well, that rectangle that was around that diagram, that's your perimeter. BeyondCorp basically says, we don't think that what's inside that rectangle is any more secure than what's outside the rectangle. So how do we deal with that reality? Basically, if you can do these two things, then you can operate in a zero trust environment or without worrying about the network. The two things I need to do are one, approve, and two, authenticate. Let's look at what these mean specifically. The first thing I want to be able to do is approve the device that the person is trying to connect to my network with. So let's say I've got Joe, and Joe is working on his personal MacBook from a Starbucks in Chicago. Well, the first thing I want to do is make sure that his personal MacBook is a device that I'm okay accessing our organization's resources. What you're looking at here is the interface from a service called Duo, which is run by Duo Security, and it will scan Joe's MacBook before he connects to our resources, and if it finds, like it did here, that his Firefox browser is very old and out of date, it will say, hey Joe, sorry, you're not going to be able to connect to our organization's resources until you fix that, and here's a link to go do that. In this way, I can approve the device that Joe is on without having to manage it remotely. The next thing I need to do is authenticate that this is actually Joe. Someone else hasn't picked up Joe's laptop and is trying to log in as him or is trying to log in as Joe from a different computer. We're still looking at Duo here, and what Duo is going to do to solve this is they're going to send a push notification to Joe's phone that will ask him to verify that, yes, he is in fact Joe by clicking yes on his phone. That means he has to be in possession of his phone, he has to be able to unlock his phone, and he has to acknowledge that, yes, I am in fact trying to log in right now. In these two ways, if I can approve and authenticate, I can operate pretty well in a zero trust environment. And in today's world, where more and more things are cloud-based, and more people are working remotely from their homes, from shared office environments like WeWork, and from also within the office, this becomes something that is incredibly useful to be able to do. So once Joe has been approved, his device has been approved, and Joe's been authenticated, it's time to get to work.